Hey guys, I'm back with another. Hey! Don't put that in the water. Get back here with that. Oh, come on! First my socks, now my microphone. Get back here. Hey guys, sorry about that. They were having me watch this goose from that new game that came out, and man, has he been a handful. Don't worry though. A lot of running around and a microphone later, I'm finally ready to make this video. So today I wanted to make a video about people who ride motorcycles, kind of in the same vein as the video game translator series, but I might not make a whole series out of it, or maybe I will, we'll see. In any case, today I wanted to tackle one very specific topic. Now, as I'm sure you already know, there's a stereotype saying that whoever rides a motorcycle is just by default a bad or dangerous person, which is of course a little sad because there are a lot of genuinely nice, cool people who just like to ride motorcycles. So today, I wanted to explain to you why riding a motorcycle does not automatically make a person bad or dangerous. One general rule of thumb that I've personally found is that if it's not a requirement to get into the group, then whatever you think about the overall group is probably wrong. For instance, most people will think, I'll go back to the gamers, that gamers are lazy and don't take care of their responsibilities. Now, the requirement to become a gamer is to enjoy playing a fair amount of games. And nowhere in that requirement to become a gamer does it say that you have to be lazy or irresponsible. And thus, chances are, you deeming somebody lazy or responsible simply because they're deemed a gamer is incorrect. Now, this is not to say there are not lazy or irresponsible gamers. There are certainly plenty of them, but that does not mean that every gamer or even most gamers are that way, because again, that's not part of the requirement. And of course, this will apply in this situation as well. The requirement to be somebody who rides a motorcycle is simply to own and ride a motorcycle. So, seeing as being a dangerous or bad person is not part of those requirements, then via this rule of thumb, it's probably wrong to assume that all people who ride motorcycles, or most, are bad or dangerous people. Now, are there bad or dangerous people on motorcycle? Yeah, I could probably find a fair bit if I really looked. But that does not mean that everybody who rides a motorcycle is bad or dangerous. Now, this would be different if we were talking about a motorcycle gang. If we were talking about a gang who was specifically known to commit major crimes, stealing, vandalism, so on and so forth, so to be part of this hypothetical gang, then you'd have to be somebody willing to commit crimes. So to deem somebody in that gang a criminal would be a lot more accurate, because to be part of that gang, one of the requirements is to, by definition, be a criminal. Now, of course, you could obviously find good people and criminals who have just been put into bad situations, but that's a whole other story and discussion to be had. The point being here that if somebody simply owns and rides a motorcycle, that doesn't necessarily make them a bad or dangerous person. Now, keep in mind that this is a rule of thumb, and just like any other rules of thumb, you're probably going to find exceptions here and there, and of course, that's to be taken on a case-by-case basis. But I find this rule of thumb to be fairly accurate, and I would encourage you to use it when judging a group, since it would give you a better idea of what the group is like, as opposed to the general stigma that unfortunately is often attached to them. And then we get situations where parents will deem other people dangerous simply because they have a motorcycle. They could be a straight A student, they could never even have detention, but because they have a motorcycle, they're deemed dangerous. And from a parent's point of view, it's a little understandable, because ultimately their purpose is to protect their child. So them being overly cautious is rather understandable. But I do encourage parents to, before deeming anybody dangerous for that matter, not just people who ride motorcycles, do get to know them in one way or another. Like, just talk to them. There's a good chance that, yeah, they could very well be dangerous, and thus once they're deemed so properly, then by all means do not let your child near that person no matter what. But you could also find that they're just really cool people, and there's no reason for you to be afraid of your child being with this person. Now, this is not me trying to convince you to let your child on a motorcycle. That's another discussion that would require statistics that I simply do not have at my disposal at the moment. I may or may not make a video in the future, I don't know, we'll see. But I'm just trying to convince you that simply being around this person isn't necessarily a bad thing. And just to give you an idea of how great these people can be, you often find motorcycle organizations, not to be confused with motorcycle criminal gangs. Those are two different things that unfortunately do get confused. But you find motorcycle organizations that often do fundraisers for almost everything. I'm talking suicide prevention, I'm talking cancer research, I'm talking mental health awareness. We could go on and on and on. And if we're talking about during the time period where you can ride a motorcycle because the weather is good, or if you live in an area where the weather is good year round, chances are you're going to have a hard time finding a month where there isn't some sort of motorcycle run for some sort of fundraiser. This is just the kind of thing that you see motorcycle organizations just doing constantly. And as always, I will leave the information down in the description below so that you can see for yourself these fundraisers and organizations that you can go and check out. Heck, if you look, you can even find organizations that have requirements that you have to be some sort of veteran or first responder to enter the motorcycle organization, which means to be part of this organization, you need to have had or currently have a job that involves saving people's lives. Now, of course, being part of these organizations that do fundraisers obviously doesn't automatically deem you a good person. You can certainly find a couple bad eggs here and there, just as you can find in just about any group ever. But most people will attend these things at the very least because they believe in whatever fundraiser they're trying to raise the money for. And like I said before, I know a lot of these people, and I know that they're really cool and awesome people. And it just makes me a little sad to think that other people will think otherwise simply because they own a motorcycle. And with this video, I'm hoping that I will encourage those other people to get to know the motorcycle people so that we can all just be really happy peoples. So I encourage you, next time maybe you're at a restaurant, cafe, and you see somebody walk in with a motorcycle helmet, maybe, stop by and say, hey, I think your motorcycle helmet or motorcycle's like super dope. And they're probably gonna be like, thanks, man. Well, guys, that is it for this video. If you have any other video ideas, ways I can improve my content, by all means, leave it in the comment section below, because, believe me, I need all the help I can get. Otherwise, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell button. I post every other Sunday, and oh no, he got to the boombox. He got to the boombox. I'm gonna have to go, guys. Hear nothing and listen to all. Bye, guys.